She called me jealous for feeding her starving daughter and said I was just a sad woman who couldn't handle being powerless. When I asked her why she was doing this, she rolled her eyes and said, because she makes money when she's hungry. What do you make? I just stared at her. That was 3 months ago. Yesterday, she locked herself in the courtroom bathroom and cried so quietly I almost missed it. I was 9 when my parents first punished me with forced starvation. I was already borderline anorexic, and that week I spent without food sent my body into shock that hospitalized me with brain damage. I came out of it barely alive, needing assistance tools to communicate and a lot less hyperactive than I was. My parents noticed how much easier their life was when I was basically a vegetable, and decided that going forward if I ever started recovering and becoming too much again, they'd just starve me. Just like that, my childhood became a cycle of turning my brain to mush over and over. I ended up running away at 15, and I never looked back. Fast forward to last year. I was 39, and somehow got my brain to a point where I'd attended and even graduated college. I became a teacher at an elementary school, striving to be the safe space kids need but sometimes don't have at home. That brings us to Sophie. Sophie was a girl in my first ever 4th grade class from a put-together and affluent family, but there was something about her. From the day I met her, her cheeks were sunken, her eyes looked tired, and her mouth watered when food was mentioned. The signs became impossible to ignore on day 1. During lunchtime, she chewed on her erasers. She bit her nails and ate her cuticles. I remember voicing my concerns to the principal, but he assured me that Sophie was in good hands and told me not to ask questions. Of course, I didn't believe it. I started paying more attention, noticing how Sophie's mother picked her up early twice a week for what she called portfolio shoots. Within 2 weeks of the school year starting, she had become the class bullying target. Kids started calling her skeleton and bony. They'd dangle food above her head, then snatch it away when she reached for it. The worst part was when I contacted these kids' parents. The principal would get involved, telling me it's not up to me to discipline them. I was in shock. I still tried telling myself that maybe Sophie was just naturally thin or something, but that all came crashing down one Monday. Sophie arrived at school shaking so badly she could barely hold a pencil. I caught her drinking from the unfiltered bathroom tap like she hadn't had water in days. She traded her designer shoes for crackers during lunch. Later, I found her in the bathroom literally eating tissues. I remember offering her some of my lunch that day, and her eyes lit up. She looked almost apprehensive to take it. Genuinely bewildered I didn't hit her after she took a second bite. I tried to ask her about her home life, but she refused to say a thing until the next day. She came in limping, looking like she had been hurt. I found her in the bathroom, but this time she started opening up. She mentioned something about how she ruined a shoot by looking bloated. She wouldn't say more, but that was enough for the pieces to start connecting. From that day on, I started a secret breakfast club before school free of charge where I supplied all the food myself. Only Sophie showed up after telling her parents she was coming in early to study. She always ate everything I brought. For 3 weeks, I fed her and watched her gain energy. Even the bullying decreased as her cheeks filled out. Unfortunately, that was my mistake. The food made her face look healthier. I remember one day after school, her mother stormed into my classroom screaming at me. She didn't even introduce herself, just started yelling about how she knew what I was doing. She bansheed that Sophie had lost a $5,000 booking because of me. She accused me of sabotaging Sophie's career and asked me how it feels knowing I was costing an honest family a living. I stared at her in disbelief. Here this woman was, proudly alluding to the fact she starves her child. I remember telling her that damn right I fed Sophie, and that I was going to keep feeding her. And unless she does too, then I will make one phone call and we can see what CPS thinks of the way their honest family makes a living. I remember her face went pale, but then it turned dark. She got this look like she had just pulled a trump card and said that if I interfere with her parenting again, she'll have me arrested so quickly I won't even get to make the CPS report. It was a clear threat, and because her family made considerable donations to the school and were pretty notorious good guys in our small town, her words held weight. Unfortunately for her, I had been in Sophie's shoes once.